Okay. Not that me. Y'all are all up there.
We're not all 20s up
I
here.
understand.
I know.
20 years old. Thank you for coming. You know, here, I want you to know, the 20s are about figuring it out. And I have a lot of daughters who, some are living in my house right now from South Africa, in between jobs and law school and medical school and all that. So I say you got 6 months to live here and then you gotta get out. But anyway, they're in their 20s, and the 20s, I'm constantly saying to them, the 20s are about figuring it out. Life moves fast at this age, and you don't know everything that you think you know. You really don't. You're gonna be so surprised. It's about trying and failing. You are not supposed to have, unless you are really highly favored and blessed, the job of your dreams in your 20s. In your 20s, you're supposed to be doing what you have to do until you can do what you really want to do. So I have one of my daughters in North Carolina who called me, and she's a STEM girl, and she's working computers in a bank, got a great job there. You know, coming from nothing, I mean zero minus nothing, when I found her in a little village. Now she's working in STEM at a bank in North Carolina, talking to me about she doesn't know she needs to keep that job because it doesn't fulfill her passion. I said, girl, you better keep that job and worry about your passion later. Are you kidding me? Mama, you say we should be passion-filled. Oh, no. That's when you're 35. 20, you trying to pay the rent. And get yourself a ticket up there to the show. There you go. Thank you so much. That's what you're doing. And this is what you need to know. In your 20s, jobs that you don't like, you know, I was a reporter for many years and I did not like it. And I could hear my father's voice saying, you better keep that job. 22, making 22,000. But I didn't like it. I just kept, and then one day they wanted to demote me and put me on a talk show. That changed everything. But the 20s are about figuring it out. And when you're at a job that you don't really like, that's information for you. That's information that I really don't want to be doing this the rest of my life, to start thinking about what do I want? Information. Don't quit your job though, till you have another one. 30s are about solidifying the plan. Solidifying that. In my 30s, actually, I came to Chicago 29 and turned 30 the same month that I started AM Chicago. So the 30s, it's just getting started. All of us know that. Any 30-year-olds in here? So you're beginning to connect to your own source balance. And then the 40s and 50s. Any 40-year-olds in here? 40, let me just tell you, 44 is when it gets really good. It starts to heat up. If you're not to 44 yet, just chill. God is good, you're gonna get there. 44, you start to, and this right, Jan, you start to step into your own. 44, you stop doing everything everybody else wants you to do. 44, you start to really own your power. So, and by the time you get to the 50s, any 50-year-olds in here? It's so great. 50s are so great. I remember when I turned 50, Maya wrote this poem for me called Continue. You can download it and find it. It's beautiful. That poem was written just for me. And she said to me, babe, you know, the 50s are everything you've been meaning to be. The 50s are everything you've been meaning to be and were meant to be. And now I sit in the space of 66. And it's fantastic. It's about, for me, contentment and satisfaction, and as I said to you earlier, purpose. I feel stronger than ever. I am well and it is well with my soul. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want the peace, honey. And all the stuff that everybody else sees and all the glamour and red carpet, what you want is the peace. And I've earned the right to be just as I am, more secure, more solidly myself than I've ever been. So I've reached that moment, actually, where Derek Walcott describes in his beautiful poem, Love After Love. He says, the time will come when with elation you will greet yourself, arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another who knows you by heart. Take down all those old letters from the past, the love letters from the bookshelf and the photographs and the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit and feast on your life. That's what I want for you. My life, just like yours, has been marked by struggle. There's nobody in here over 20 that hadn't had some struggles, some hard times, some difficulties, some challenges. Mine's been marked by miracles, just like yours. You couldn't get to where you are right now without the hand of grace upon your life. And so, when you're in the struggle times, that's when you gotta remember the grace times. Remember all the times you've been carried to this gracious moment right here. My life is such a miracle. Y'all know, my mother and father never married. And my father, he's just really, he's pretty frank about it. My mother had one idea about what was going on, but my father said she was wearing a poodle skirt. Y'all know what that is, a poodle skirt? 20-year-olds, I know you don't know. Let me explain, I'll tell you. So, there's a picture of my mother, and it's one of these big white skirts, and when you turn around, you could see underneath it. And my father said he wanted to know what was up under there. And she was leaving from school one day, and he had a Buick, and he talked her into letting him drive her home. They stopped along the side of a dirt road. There was an oak tree, and I happened that one time. That was the one and only time they were ever together. And everybody said that was illegitimate. Everybody said, oh wow, born out of wedlock, all that stuff. That was a one time. So I grew up in this house, actually, with my grandmother. There's a picture of, there's me and my mother before she went north for the Great Migration to find a better life for herself. So I was raised by my grandmother in this house. It's like a wooden shotgun house, swing on the porch. And I went back and forth between, after my grandmother died, when I was 6, I went from my mother's house in Milwaukee to my father's house, back to my mother's house, back to my father's house. And the second time I went to my father's house, I was 14, and he was living in a brick house. And I remember being so excited because all my life I'd lived either with my mother on welfare or with my grandmother in this shack house in Mississippi. And so my father had this brick house on Arrington Street where total square footage is 1,010 square feet. I could put this house in my current living room right now. But at the time that I saw this house, I was so overjoyed because I thought I'd finally made it because we had a brick house. My father lived in that house on Arrington Street until I was able to buy him another house in a gated community and all the things you do when you're a daughter who becomes successful. I never forgot what it meant to move to that brick house and to have this dream of being in a brick house and then living in one. And when I moved to Baltimore, I had a friend who was a producer. Arlene Weiner was the richest person I knew, and her husband was a lawyer. And I went to Arlene Weiner's house once, and in the driveway was a Mercedes, a BMW, I think it was a Corvette. I went, damn, Arlene's rich. She's got all these cars. Her children have cars. I've never heard such a thing, these white people. I got inside Arlene's house, ranch house, and looking out, I could see all these trees in the yard. And I thought, whoa, Arlene got cars and trees. If I ever get some money, I'm gonna get me some trees. I had this vision of having 6 trees in the yard, because that's how many trees Arlene Weiner had. And as I tell you, you hold the vision inside yourself. Years later, I mean 25, 30 years later, I am standing in my kitchen in Santa Barbara, and I look out the window and I see the 6 trees. I see the 6 trees. That's standing right at my kitchen sink. I walked outside, and here's the deal. I could dream the 6 dreams. I'm gonna show you all this because I'll go around showing people my house. If you walk outside and you look at my house from where you enter the front gate, this is my front yard. And I show you that picture to tell you that I could dream of the 6, but God had a bigger dream. God had a bigger dream. God had a bigger dream for me, and God has a bigger dream for you. You dream the dream, you hold the vision, and you hand that vision up, over, and out beyond yourself. To the person, the entity, the forces of life that dreamed your life. You give that dream, you surrender that dream to that which is greater than yourself, and you will live an unimaginable life. God can dream a bigger dream than you can ever hold for yourself. So I want you to leave here today dreaming a bigger dream. Wherever you are, whatever you held for yourself, not big enough. Not big enough. What is the dream you hold for yourself? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. You all know the song. That is my life's theme. You know my struggles, I don't know yours, but I know you had them. And sometimes what holds us back is holding on to the past. And if you hear anything today, hear what I've said, what Tracy said, what you know in your heart, that your life is happening right now.